dive into a journey through time as we explore the rich history of Nigeria, from prehistoric times to the Fourth Republic. This West African nation holds a timeline that stretches back to at least 13,000 years before the Common Era. It's a story that begins with early civilizations like the remarkable Nok culture that emerged around 1500 years before the Common Era. This journey will take us through the rise and fall of ancient African kingdoms, the introduction of major religions, the harsh touch of European contact, and the resilience shown in the face of colonization. We'll see how the echoes of history continue to shape modern Nigeria, a country that has faced its share of challenges but also boasts a vibrant and growing cultural scene, particularly in music, film, and technology. Understanding Nigeria's past is crucial to appreciating its present and envisioning its future. Are you ready to journey from Nigeria's prehistoric era to its modern-day republic? Buckle up as we start from the very beginning. Imagine a world over 13,000 years ago. This is where our story begins, in prehistoric Nigeria. A world where the footprints of humanity's ancestors are etched in the sands of time, with archaeological evidence dating back to over 700,000 years ago. The legacy of these early humans is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of our species. In the heartland of West Africa, these early Nigerians were not just survivors but innovators, contributing to one of humanity's most significant achievements, the development of iron metallurgy. The discovery and mastery of iron crafting set the stage for a technological revolution that would echo through the centuries. Iron tools and weapons paved the way for advancements in agriculture, warfare, and craftsmanship, forever changing the trajectory of human history. But the early Nigerians were not only known for their strides in iron metallurgy, they also left a rich cultural legacy that continues to captivate us to this day. The Nok culture, emerging around 1,500 years before Christ, is a testament to this. Renowned for their exquisite terracotta sculptures, the Nok people demonstrated a remarkable understanding of human and animal form, creating figures that are celebrated for their naturalism and dynamism. These terracotta figures, with their enigmatic expressions and intricate detailing, offer us a tantalizing glimpse into the past. They speak of a society that valued art and aesthetics, that sought to capture the essence of the human experience in clay. Through these sculptures, the Nok people have achieved a form of immortality, their artistic vision enduring long after the civilization itself has faded into history. From these ancient beginnings, civilizations began to emerge, setting the stage for the history of Nigeria. From the remnants of prehistoric Nigeria, powerful kingdoms and empires rose. This wasn't an overnight change but a gradual shift that saw the early inhabitants of this region transition from hunter-gatherer communities to organized, sophisticated societies. First, let's travel back to around the year 1500 before the Common Era. It was during this time that the Nok culture began to emerge. This civilization, known for its impressive ironwork and distinctive terracotta sculptures, was one of the earliest in sub-Saharan Africa to perfect the art of iron smelting. The Nok people's advanced knowledge of ironwork, coupled with their intricate artistry, is a testament to the technological and cultural sophistication of this early African civilization. Next, we turn our attention to the Kingdom of NRI, which came into prominence around the 10th century. This was a kingdom that thrived on peaceful coexistence, trade, and religion rather than military conquest. Its influence extended through much of what is now eastern Nigeria, and its rulers, known as Eze NRI, were seen as divine figures who used their spiritual power to uphold the laws of the land and maintain societal harmony. Further to the south of the Kingdom of NRI, the Benin Empire was establishing itself as a formidable powerhouse. From the 14th to the 19th centuries, this empire was renowned for its strong political structures, formidable army, and exquisite bronze artworks. The royal court of the Oba, or king, was the epicenter of the empire's cultural and political life, and the city of Benin, with its impressive walls and artistic splendor, was a testament to the empire's might and sophistication. Finally, we come to the Oyo Empire, a Yoruba kingdom that dominated much of present-day southwestern Nigeria and parts of Benin, from the 14th to the 19th centuries. The Oyo Empire was a political juggernaut, with a highly organized governmental system and a powerful cavalry that was often deployed to expand its territories and influence. These civilizations, the Nok culture, the Kingdom of NRI, the Benin Empire, and the Oyo Empire, each left an indelible mark on the history of Nigeria. They showcased the rich diversity, technological prowess, and cultural sophistication that characterized ancient African civilizations. Their legacy is woven into the fabric of modern Nigerian society, influencing its art, culture, governance, and societal norms. When we look at Nigeria today, we can see the echoes of these ancient civilizations in the nation's vibrant cultures, diverse languages, and rich traditions. These powerful empires laid the groundwork for the Nigeria we know today. As centuries passed, new religions found their way to Nigeria. As the sand of time swept over the land, the 11th century witnessed the arrival of Islam. This was largely due to the influence of traders from the north who practiced the Islamic faith. They brought with them not just goods but ideas, customs, and a new way of life that began to take root in the region. The seeds of Islam sown in northern Nigeria yielded a rich harvest. Over time, Islamic teachings permeated various aspects of Nigerian society. It influenced their laws, education, and even their art. The introduction of Islam also birthed the Hausa language's Ajami script, a testament to the intermingling of culture and faith. Then, in the 15th century, a new faith sailed into Nigeria on European ships: Christianity. Introduced by Portuguese explorers and missionaries, Christianity began to spread primarily in the southern and coastal regions of Nigeria. Unlike Islam, which was integrated into the local culture, Christianity often came with a push for westernization. It brought changes in education, with the establishment of mission schools and in governance, laying the groundwork for the later colonial rule. But the impact of Christianity was not just institutional, it also etched deep marks on the social fabric of the Nigerian society. It influenced the locals' worldview, their understanding of morality, and their perception of life and death. Christianity, like Islam, became a force that shaped the culture, traditions, and the very identity of the people. While both Islam and Christianity were foreign religions, they became deeply rooted in Nigerian society. Both faiths coexisted, often within the same communities, leading to a blend of beliefs and practices. This intermingling of faiths painted a vibrant picture of religious diversity, a picture that is still visible in today's Nigeria. With these new faiths, Nigeria was slowly being shaped into a diverse and multi-religious society. The winds of change blew from across the Atlantic, bringing with them a dark era for Nigeria. The 15th century heralded a new epoch in Nigeria's history: the arrival of Europeans. The Portuguese, in their quest for new trade routes and wealth, were the first to make contact. Their arrival marked an era of significant change, and not for the better. With the Europeans came the Transatlantic slave trade, a horrific period that saw millions of Africans, including Nigerians, forcibly taken from their homes and transported across the Atlantic. They were sold into slavery in the Americas and the Caribbean, forced to work on plantations, in mines, and as domestic servants. The human cost was immense, with countless lives lost during the brutal journey known as the Middle Passage. Nigeria's coastal regions, with their strategic location and natural harbors, became integral to this dark trade. Harbor towns emerged, their economies intertwined with the slave trade, their societies irreversibly altered. Calabar and Badagry, among others, became notorious slave ports. These towns bore witness to the unimaginable suffering of the enslaved, a haunting legacy that echoes to this day. But the impact of the European contact and the transatlantic slave trade was not confined to the coasts. It reverberated across Nigeria, disrupting societies and devastating communities. The demand for slaves fueled warfare and incited internal conflicts as people were captured and sold by rival groups. The social fabric of Nigerian societies was torn apart, their population drastically reduced, their progress stifled, and yet amidst the darkness, there were sparks of resistance. Stories of rebellion aboard slave ships, of communities banding together to resist slave raids, of individuals who defied their captors and fought for their freedom. These stories bear testament to the indomitable spirit of the Nigerian people, their resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. The European contact and the transatlantic slave trade were a cataclysmic event in Nigeria's history. They brought about profound changes, many of them devastating, but they also set the stage for the next chapter of Nigeria's history, a chapter characterized by resistance, resilience, and the quest for freedom. This era left an indelible mark on Nigeria, setting the stage for the next phase of its history. As the 19th century rolled around, Nigeria found itself under a new flag. The British, with their eyes on the abundant resources and strategic locations, began to expand their influence. What started as a commercial interest soon turned into a full-blown colonization, forever altering the course of Nigeria's history. By the early 1900s, The British had effectively taken control of Nigeria, marking the beginning of a new era. The year 1903 saw Nigeria officially become a British colony, a chapter that would last for more than 5 decades. British rule brought with it significant changes, many of which still echo in Nigeria's social, political, and economic landscapes today. However, this period of colonization was not without resistance. Brave Nigerians from all walks of life stood tall against the colonial rule, their voices echoing with the demand for freedom and self-determination. The struggle for independence was a long and arduous journey, marked by protests, negotiations, and an unwavering spirit of resilience. The wheels of change began to turn in the mid-20th century as the clamor for independence grew louder. The year 1957 saw the first wave of decolonization, with Nigeria becoming a self-governing entity within the Commonwealth. The momentum continued, and by October 1, 1960, the dream of independence became a reality. The Union Jack was lowered, and in its place, the green-white-green flag of Nigeria was hoisted, signaling the dawn of a new era. Independence brought with it a sense of optimism and the promise of a brighter future. However, it was also a time of immense challenges. Nigeria, now free from colonial rule, had to navigate its path, build its institutions, and carve out its identity on the international stage. With independence, Nigeria embarked on a new journey, one filled with challenges and triumphs. The country had finally earned the right to dictate its destiny, a right for which many had fought and sacrificed. The journey since independence has been a roller coaster ride, filled with moments of success and periods of strife. But through it all, Nigeria continues to endure, standing tall as the giant of Africa. With independence came turmoil, as Nigeria faced one of its darkest periods. The euphoria of freedom was soon overshadowed by political instability, ethnic tension, and economic disparity, setting the stage for a catastrophic civil war. Just 6 years after gaining independence from Britain in 1960, Nigeria found itself on the brink of disaster. The nation was divided along ethnic and religious lines, with the largely Muslim North, Christian South, and the Eastern region, predominantly inhabited by the Igbo people, each vying for power and control. In 1966, the tension reached a boiling point. A coup led by Igbo officers led to the assassination of the Prime Minister and key northern leaders. The coup, perceived as an Igbo conspiracy, sparked brutal reprisals against the Igbo people living in the north, culminating in thousands of deaths and a mass exodus of Igbos back to the eastern region. In May 1967, the eastern region under the leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu declared independence and named itself the Republic of Biafra, a decision that ignited a brutal civil war that lasted for 2.5 years. The Nigerian government, led by General Yakubu Gowon, was determined to preserve the unity of the country and responded with military force. The war was marked by bloody battles, blockades, and severe famine. Both sides committed atrocities, and by the time the war ended in January 1970, with Biafra's surrender, over 1 million people, mostly civilians, had lost their lives. The aftermath of the war was devastating. It exposed the deep-seated ethnic and religious divisions, and the struggle for resources that continue to shape Nigeria's political landscape. The war also highlighted the dire need for national unity and reconciliation, leading to the government's policy of no victor, no vanquished, and a program of reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation. The echoes of the Civil War still resonate today, a stark reminder of Nigeria's turbulent past. From the ashes of the Civil War, a new Nigeria emerged. A nation that had been through the ringer, facing a myriad of challenges, but also teeming with potential and promise. This was the dawn of the Fourth Republic, a significant chapter in the history of Nigeria. The transition to the Fourth Republic in 1999 was a pivotal moment. It marked the end of a turbulent era of military rule and the inception of a democratic republic. The Nigerian people were hopeful, anticipating that democracy would bring about the much-needed change and stability. But the road to democracy was far from smooth, and the new republic was not without its own set of challenges. One of the major challenges that Nigeria faced in the Fourth Republic was the Boko Haram insurgency. This extremist group, advocating for the establishment of an Islamic state in Nigeria, has caused widespread destruction and taken numerous lives. The government's efforts to curb this menace have been met with varying degrees of success, but the struggle continues. But it wasn't just the political and social landscape that was under duress. The environment, too, was bearing the brunt of Nigeria's oil industry. Oil spills, gas flaring, and other oil-related environmental issues became a significant concern. These issues not only wreaked havoc on the environment but also adversely impacted the livelihoods of many Nigerians. We've journeyed through thousands of years, witnessing the evolution of Nigeria from prehistoric times to its modern republic. We've seen the rise and fall of ancient civilizations, their rich cultures echoing in the heart of the nation. We've explored the profound impact of Islam and Christianity and the tumultuous era of the transatlantic slave trade. We've treaded the path of colonial rule and the fight for independence, the struggle that gave birth to the Nigeria we know today. We've also delved into the post-independence era, marked by a civil war that shaped its socio-political landscape. Finally, we've arrived at the Fourth Republic, a testimony to Nigeria's resilience and undying spirit. Each era, each event, has left an indelible mark, shaping modern-day Nigeria. It's a nation that's been shaped by its past, but is boldly striding into the future. As we close this chapter of Nigeria's history, we're curious to know, which African country's history would you like to know about next?